Start with the fly facing, align main and pocketing right sides together and sew the curved edge. Then grab the fly extension, fold it in half with right sides together and sew the bottom. Both these seam allowance should be really small, like 1/2 centimeter or 1/4 of an inch maximum. Trim the seam allowance, turn it to the right side, and now press. This will allow you to have a fly facing with a beautifully finished edge. For the fly extension, turn it with right side out. Finish this raw edge only this one, like this. This piece is all done, you can set it aside. The fly will be looking like this. It will be finished without any raw edges visible. This is the fly facing. And the fly extension will be trimmed with a little strip of pocketing to look pretty like this. So, place the trim on the raw edge of the fly extension and sew it at 1 centimeter, 3/8 of an inch, or a little bit less than that. Then wrap the trim around the raw edge, tuck the other long edge under, secure everything. I like to use clips at this point. Secure everything with clips, tucking the edge under, and then you are going to sew really close to the edge. And now sew here really close to the edge. Finish the center front of both front pieces and then place a pin on the notch. So the zipper will only be sewn up until the notch. Position the zipper face down on the right side of the front, its right sides together, and align the zipper stop exactly above the notch. If the zipper is longer than the front of the pants, don't worry and do not trim it yet. Pin everything in place. And now just sew from the top of the front just until that notch. Don't sew anything below that notch. You can always place the fly extension on top of the zipper right now or do it later. So align the fly extension on top of the zipper. So the zipper is now sandwiched in between the main fabric, and sew really close to the trim. For this step, you are going to use a zipper foot. Sew only until the notch, do not sew any further. So as soon as you reach the notch, backstitch. The fly extension is also sewn only up until the notch. Flip the fly extension and the zipper outwards and the seam allowance is under the front, and top stitch close to the folded edge only until the notch. This is the right hand side of the pants. At the notch, just do a little clip, just a little small cut with your scissors up until the stitch line, and do exactly the same on the left hand side of the pants to help with all the stitches. So grab the fly facing and align it right sides together with the front. Pin and sew from the top towards the notch only. Fold the bottom of the fly facing up and pin it to keep it out of the way. Arrange the front pieces right sides together and align them along the crotch below the zipper. Pin and sew. You're going to sew with a regular seam allowance of 1 centimeter or 3/8 of an inch, and you are going to sew just from the zipper down or from the notch down. It's easier to sew this step if you flip the pants upside down and start sewing from the inseam towards the zipper notch. So move the zipper tape and the fly extension out of the way so that you can sew as close to the notch as possible. In this step, I also like to use the zipper foot because it's smaller and it allows me to get as close to the notch as possible. open up the front with the zipper closed and lay everything flat on the table to see if the base of the fly is beautiful and flat. So the fly facing should be turned towards the wrong side of the pants. You could have done this step sooner, but I forgot. So just turn it under and then top stitch along the edge. Lay everything flat on the table to check that the base of the fly is beautiful and flat. If it looks crooked, just unpick and do it again. This one is looking really nice, so just place one hand on the center, front, fold the leg over your hand, right sides together, and secure the fly facing to the zipper tape without catching the fly extension. So start with a clip on top and a clip at the bottom, and hold the fly facing and zipper tape together, like this, and pin them to each other, moving the fly extension out of the way. So now that I have the zipper tape and the fly facing, I'm going to pin them. This part is a bit finicky, but it will turn out really well. Flip everything upside down because it's easier. And now sew the zipper to the fly facing. Place some more pins to help you hold everything in place. I'm going to double check that the center front is laying correctly, and it is. It's looking nice. It should be closed here with the zipper not visible. And now grab this part again and sew the zipper tape to the fly facing. After it's sewn, open your zipper and close it a few times just to make sure that it works correctly, that everything is looking nice. Now move the fly extension out of the way again and lay the pants out like this, but the fly extension is out of the way. Now you are going to pin the outside to the fly facing, following the curve of the fly facing. So just pin like this, and then you can use pattern piece 9C, for example, as a template. Like this, you can just place it on top as a template for you to be able to follow the curve of the fly facing underneath. When you're happy with how it's going to look, use tailor's chalk to draw a line around the template or the pattern piece so that you are able to draw a beautiful and nice curve. The bottom and the end of the curve at the bottom should stop just below the zipper stop. Now top stitch this part. So 2 rows of top stitching over the fly facing through both layers. And be careful at the bottom to not hit the zipper stop with your needle. it should look like this on the inside of the pants. So the fly facing is completely sewn to the front, like this. Now the second row of top stitching. Now you'll sew one bar tack here and one here. To do that, lay the fly extension flat again on the fly facing. And from the right side, sew one bar tack just above where the curve starts, and then sew another one at the base of the fly. You can do a bar tack or a really small, narrow and short zigzag stitch. It's just some stitches to hold the fly together. Now the only thing left to do is to top stitch the bottom of the crotch curve here. So 2 rows of top stitching here, catching the seam allowance underneath.